Ryrus get bodied in that Gangplank Riven matchup even after being spoon fed the first kill in the matchup. And if you lose this, I think we're gonna have to just say goodbye to you, my friend. We're just gonna keep Hanabi for ourselves.
Yep, and getting into pick and ban phase, Flash Wolves banning away the Sejuani, Hong Kong Attitude banning out the Zoe from Maple. So far, identical bans from last game. And there's the Camille ban as well. And again, Flash Wolves, they won the first game, so don't change something that's not broken, so they don't need to adapt anything. And it's up to Hong Kong Attitude, and there it is. There's the Tarek ban, actually.
Yeah, one of the things that was pretty instrumental in allowing Flash Wolves to push up so aggressively was that Tarek. The causing radiances were extremely well timed by Sword Art, basically stuffing two potential counter engages from Ryrus's Riven. So it could have been a scary thing, and actually we see a quick little change up here with Hogmop being banned away from Hong Kong Attitude. And they actually banned the Ezreal, but this does leave the Kalista, so if Betty fancies it, he could go for still the early game pick. But they're currently hovering a 0. We'll see if this is actually the pick they intend to lock in, but...
Yep, compared to... Yeah. I think that's gonna be the 0 first pick. In the first game, Hong Kong Attitude did ban out the 0 and the Tom Kench. So maybe they will pick up the Tom Kench as the second pick here alongside maybe the Kalista, because the Kalista Tom Kench bot lane is very potent. But it looks like they're just gonna go with the Ryze.
One thing to note is that Charlie was not subbed in for the second game, and I think that's a fine call because honestly, Gare didn't even do that poorly. He was able to keep Maple in check in lane as the Malzahar cannot outwave clear the Ryze early on unless there is some form of threat from outside lanes. And it wasn't until Betty and Sword Art started roaming to the mid lane that they were able to take that lane down. So, maybe Gear can, instead of just maintaining Maple in the mid lane, maybe he can have a stand-up performance and actually snowball and affect the other lanes.
Now, Evelyn being hovered right now, and if this does get locked in, that is gonna be... Oh, never mind. That is... I got baited, I think. Yep, there's...
I got baited too.
There's the Tristana lock-in. Now Tom Kent is still up, as well as the Kalista, but they did lock in an AD carry already, so it looks like the Gnar does have a really high priority for Flash Wolves.
That's interesting that MMD did not want to lock in the Gangplank right away. Maybe they're actually just looking forward to taking away any potential bully lane matchup from Ryrus, as without a bully lane matchup, we've seen it both ways. We've seen Ryrus have the bully lane matchup lose. When he has the scaling matchup, he loses. So I guess Flash Wolves, maybe by taking away the Gnar, you take away potential utility from Ryrus. But I still don't understand why Ryrus just doesn't pick Ornn for himself. I mean, it's fantastic team fighting potential, and then yes, Gnar probably wins the split push matchup, which I guess is the kind of the incentive. Maybe they're reading that if Ryrus picks Ornn, that you can just take the Gnar into it and split push it, and now they don't. I don't know. I feel like I'm at a loss for words. It's just I don't believe in Ryrus anymore, so I don't think the Vladimir pick is actually that good for them. Maybe you take it so that you don't get absolutely dumpstered by Gnar in the Ornn matchup, but even then, it's... I don't know. Take it away from here, Chairman. I can't.
Well, I guess Hong Kong Attitude, Tabe, with the prey. I think he's actually playing for the Bars Caitlyn bans from Flash Wolves. So looks like Hong Kong Attitude is gonna lock in the recall for Kaiwing. Now we haven't actually seen the Zaya recall in a while, and that combo is still very strong. So maybe that's what Hong Kong Attitude is looking to run here.
Braum being locked in on the side of Flash Wolves for Sword Art. Now, that's all that's left is their jungle pick. The Kha'Zix was taken away from Mujin, but he did tease us with the Evelyn and the Kindred hovers, or maybe the Nidalee he could go for that. However, Jarvan is looking like the ideal option from Flash Wolves at the moment, and they will go ahead and lock that in. Pretty solid engage from Flash Wolves' side. You do have the Jarvan, you do have the Braum, and you have the Gnar. If you time everything well together, you can get a nice wombo combo and just have Azir and Shana basically DPSing from the back line. And like you said, Chairman, we've got that Zaya Rakan combo. I mean, it was to be expected. I mean, when the band's phase is done and you early pick the Rakan, there's really no secret to, unless you really bamboozle us and pick another ADC apart from Zaya. But I don't even think that Rakan is that good without the Zaya pick, or the Zaya pick is good without the Rakan. So without that combo for the level 1 all-in, level 2 all-in, there's no really point in separating this two. Looks like Kaiwing will be going with the Unsealed Spellbook. They really want to go aggressive. If he stays with those summoner spells, the Ignite Exhaust, I think we saw this once. I'm not sure if it was actually the LMS that we saw it in, or if it was LCK.
I think it was. I think it was actually Hong Kong Attitude that actually ran the same team competition.
Because it was against JT. That's right.
Yeah, I think so. But hopefully, I do know that Braum does work super well, especially against the Zaya, because the Braum Unbreakable does prevent the feathers from landing on the ground. So that takes away a lot of the damage. That takes away a lot of damage from the Zaya, especially in her when she does use use the feathers to do damage. But pretty interesting pick and ban phase from Hong Kong Attitude, and looks like Kaiwing does have the exhaust and the ignite. We're pretty, and that's a really scary level 1.
Yeah. So maybe, as we do get a pause in here, we'll have to see what the issue is in just a moment, as we'll have to delay getting into game. But I'm excited for this Ignite Exhaust for Khan. That means, that only means that there's going to be something explosive happening early on if Betty and Sword Art opt into trying to fight it out and attempt to outplay them. But maybe that's the secret ingredient that Hong Kong Attitude need. Unified's like, oh, that's why we didn't win bot lane. We didn't have exhaust and ignite. You have flash, and that doesn't help me at all. So, maybe this ignite exhaust for Khan will be the secret ingredient to making sure that Unified doesn't int early on. So, with the pause on, looking at these matchups, we do have Gnar versus Vlad, Jarvan versus Kha'Zix, and then Azir versus Ryze, and then of course the Tristana Braum versus Zaya Rakan. From those kind of 4 lanes, which one are you most excited about, or which one are you looking to?
So I am interested in how the MMD Ryze matchup plays out, because from what we've seen, MMD hasn't performed well in his previous game versus Team Afro, and Ryze on the other hand hasn't performed well either. And this matchup, I feel like it's more of a who's the worst top laner, and in the Vlad Gnar matchup, so far, I think from all the regions I've seen, Gnar has been winning that matchup, at least in the mid to early to mid game. And once it gets to the late game is where Vladimir does shine in those team fights because he does have a lot of dive potential onto the backline, especially against things like Azir and Tristana that are super squishy. So I do hope that MMD can take advantage of the early to mid game pressure on Listener, and if he does get ahead, it's going to provide a lot of split pushing pressure
Mm-hmm.
for Flash Wolves.
Yeah, and for the sake of his job, really, I mean, when you come in to the second match of your first series after your top laner or your team already won the game, and then you're one of the factors of losing the second game, and then you get subbed out. It feels bad. So, but now even as much as Flash Wolves have it pretty easy to win and expect to win this game, and that can have some pressure on Flash Wolves themselves to not lose. It's even more pressure on MMD to not lose this 1v1 matchup because of how just the track record of Ryrus has been so far this split. And if he's the one that gets bopped by Ryrus, then that just spells disaster for MMD's
Honestly,
future starting position.
yeah, that might just be the end of his career.
What career? What career?
But something else is looking at the mid lane matchup. I do expect Maple to be able to uh, push in gear at least in the early game because they can abuse the rise from level one, at least in the early levels.
Yeah.
Looks like there's a invade coming from Sword Art,
Yeah,
but
the nice sidestep from Gemini being able to dodge the Winter's Bite. Had he not Had he got clipped by that, I think he definitely would have had to flash right there because the slow from Nar. Actually, Sword Art is going to find Gemini again and deny him from being able to back. It's just scumbag Sword Art trying to delay Gemini as much as he can on this Braum. We got to see the Keystones come up. Unsealed Spellbook from both supports, allowing them the flexibility of having more kill pressure with the reduced summoner spell cooldown of the Ignite and Flash for Braum, and of course the Ignite Exhaust for Kaiwing. We'll see how he changes up these summoner spells later on in the game. There, thank you from the LMS spectator client as they show that red ward allows Flash Wolves to be seen, and Mujin's red buff start will be shown to Hong Kong Attitude. So they'll have that information, and it's up to Gemini to really play around it. More than likely, he's going to know now that Mujin is going to go for a standard 3 camp clear on the top side of the map after taking away red buff. If Mujin can counter this or make some kind of counter gank play, maybe actually Ignite Exhaust already burned onto Betty, and Betty had to burn Flash, so I guess that level 1 all advantage already starting to do some work for Hong Kong Attitude. Betty only now having the Flash up, where Unified still has both some. So we'll have to see how the rest of this matchup plays out.
yeah,
But
and Betty has to be careful here because Hong Kong Attitude will hit level 2 first, and if he's not careful, could be a dead Tristana.
Mujin's actually going to see Gemini with that early ward. He might be able to try and go for a steal onto the Scuttle Crab if he can time the EQ flag drag across. He's gonna actually just gonna Mujin?
Hmm.
I don't know if that was intentional, if he just wanted to poke and then throw down the flag for warding, just got like vision, but maybe he just didn't want to commit to it. I don't know. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that
It's about sending a message.
yeah, it's about sending a message. I don't know. It seems kind of silly to me. If you're not gonna commit to an all in onto Gemini, then why even show that you're there? Because now Gemini knows that you have to go back. And MMD is gonna be able to spot out Gemini. Wait, is okay? Huh? This is they're actually just pushing really far forward up to this, and this is some curious stuff here. I don't know. Maybe I'm just underestimating how much damage potential they can do to MMD under the safety of his tower. But Gemini's going to actually go in onto MMD. He's getting really low. He's going to try to use the hop. Very calmly played from MMD, not burning the flash early on. I know I probably would have if a scary bug jumped up and started eating my face off. So nice stuff from MMD. Unfortunate that he is being the receiver of this jungle pressure. But if MMD knows anything from last game, the last time Gemini spoon-fed Ryrus, it didn't really do anything. So MMD just has to play patient for the first, few minutes of the game, and then more than likely he should be able to get himself back into the matchup.
Yeah, but I feel like MMD had almost too much respect for Gemini and Ryrus because at the time they were both level 3. There's no way they can dive him under the turret. And by using his hopping away from the turret, I think he lost like 2 waves right there. Honestly, I would have stayed under the turret.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It was like I don't know if you actually really feel threatened to be zoned away at this point. Sword Art getting dangerously low, about 200 health now remaining onto Sword Art, but he's got pots. He's gonna start chugging them. Actually, is he actually gonna recall right here? Yeah, he decides to recall. So, he's gonna be able to purchase that Targon's Brace. Gonna give Sword Art and Betty a little bit more sustain in this matchup against Zion Rakan. Now, just looking at CS advantages, at least Unified now has the CS lead onto Betty. So, that Ignite Exhaust kind of early sum advantage was used to some success. It's now just up to Unified and Kaiwing to play out the rest of the matchup in the best way they can. Ryrus actually getting a face full of MMD as he tried to contest the ward procs, but MMD is getting the chunk Ryrus really low, and Ryrus unfortunately misplays the all-in trade there, not being able to get the final empowered blood transfusion proc off for the heal. So this is going to put MMD in a more favorable position, and Gemini can't even help his top laner either because now he has full vision of the top side of the map, so he would have to commit pretty hard if he actually wants to make a gank work on the top side of the map.
Yeah, the early pressure from Gemini honestly haven't been paying off at all against MMD. MMD is slightly behind in CS, but I don't think it's not that big of a deal, I think.
Indeed. More than likely, MMD, the way he's playing the matchup, he should be able to just push in Ryrus and eventually gain a CS lead back for himself. Heavy trading on the bot side of the map, as normally would expect from Unified and Kaiwing on this Zion Rakan. They're trying to do their best to extend and further push the advantage of this CS or this lead that they've accrued for themselves here. Betty does not have the Targon's Brace quite yet, so he doesn't have the sustain advantage that he would like to have. And competing against BF Sword on Xayah versus Pickaxe on Tristana, you definitely have more of an all-in potential between the Xayah and Rakan. But Betty and Sword are able to still somehow sustain and push them back. Actually, Maple is going to find the Shurima Shuffle onto Gear. He's going to get chunked to about 300 of his health, but does not feel the need to Realm Warp stopwatch himself out of there. And actually, nicely played from Gear to just be patient and be calm and collected. And he's just going to back here. He does have TP, so he can use that to get back to lane. So if there's another all-in advantage from Maple, actually Betty's going to get really low, but the Ignite does not proc from Kaiwing. A slight misplay. I feel like it could have at least burned Betty's heal or one of those other sums there from that, but Betty will be able to back. This will give Unified and Kaiwing a chance to push in this lane.
But that is almost 2 waves crashing into the chariot. And actually musing down right here. Junglers are level 6. But looks like they're just gonna walk away. Again, talking about the Shurima Shuffle Maple attempted, Gear very calm and collected. Correctly identifies that Maple doesn't have any mana left. So he just walks away freely.
Yeah,
And Gemini might be looking for a dive in the top lane here.
but Mugen does have the ward on the Gemini, so he suspects this. He sees this coming. Gear is also making his way to the top side of the map, but they know that the way that MMD is now poised, playing super defensively, this could not be the ideal time. But actually, Gemini still fancies this. If he face checks into Mugen, or if he even tries to take this Gromp, Mugen will have the advantage, and they don't have a ward on the other side of the map. So Gemini has no idea that he's being collapsed on right now. Gemini is going to have to get out, but he actually gets the smite, but MMD will flash over the wall, gnar him into the wall. First blood goes to MMD, and that is honestly just really risky stuff from Gemini, and clearly gets punished for it.
Yeah, he gets warded up. He got spotted on a ward and he didn't realize it. And honestly, Moonjin already misplayed because he missed his flag and drag onto the Kazakhs. But a good flash ultimate by MMD locks down Gemini, and with Moonjin with a decent follow up was able to pick up the kill onto Gemini.
Yeah. One thing I do want to kind of bring attention to is that with after that kill, Mugen has now opted into the warrior enchantment from Jarvan. And as we've seen from most of the LMS matches, there hasn't been many warrior Jarvans. I think there's only a couple by, I want to say it was Gemini on, or it could have been another jungler that they had the mid game power spike. Actually, the quickness and grand entrance combo comes from Kaiwing, ignite onto Betty, now forcing the heal out, and this is chunking Betty really hard. Now, this is the bot lane matchup that Hong Kong Attitude really want to be playing. They're putting a lot of pressure onto Betty, 30 CS down. They're pushing in this turret. Mugen is here for support, but Betty doesn't really have anything else that he can do. If he gets too close, he could die. So, but Mugen will be here just to help try and force the CS lead. But with the warrior enchantment, he's still squishy, and he gets really chunked by Unified's feathers there. And so now Mugen is forced away from the turret. And with that pressure advantage, Gemini is going to try and solo out this Infernal Dragon. But good game sense. He does suspect that he might be spotted, and he is getting pretty low. So he's going to be able to take this dragon for free without any contestation from Mugen, as he was chunked from the earlier bot scuffle. But they will not take the bot lane turret just quite yet. Kaiwing is going to recall. Actually, not Sword Art, just being a little pest. Gonna throw out that Winter's Bite and stop the recall there.
Yeah, this Hong Kong Attitude bot lane duo is actually giving a beating to Betty and Sword Art. So far, they're up almost 35 CS. So pretty similar to how far ahead Betty was on the Ezreal last game. But this time around, the Zyra even though this bot lane combo isn't as meta right now, in the current meta, which favors a lot more hyper carry AD carries, but they have so much lane pressure and a lot of trading going on actually in the bot lane right now. Unified getting chunked a little bit.
Yeah, we actually see Mugen trying to walk up and take this blue buff. Wait, he commits for that? He has Maple on the side. Oh, he has a stopwatch. He might be able to buy some time, but Maple is not doing enough damage as Mugen was expecting, and he goes down for his oversight. That costs Mugen heavily in that exchange.
Yeah, definitely some miscommunication there. The bot lane of Flash Wolves was actually getting chunked in, and actually all in coming in from Kaiwing.
Yeah, the feathers are coming in from Unified, doing a lot of damage onto Betty and Sword Art. Quickness being used by Kaiwing to start up that engage. But Betty is slowly, now with the Targons on both him and Sword Art, they're able to start sustaining up, even from the heavy trading that Unified and Kaiwing is able to put down on the Tristana, but the pressure is on to this bot lane turret. Gemini is already invading deep into the enemy jungle, so Muujin cannot support them. That would be the first brick. Muujin now has to watch as Gear and Gemini try to take their red buff, but they do realize that the rest of the team has collapsed. And actually, MMD is coming in with the TP. He has the Mega Gnar. He might be able to... Oh, but the Gemini times the stopwatch and dodges the Mega Gnar ultimate, but it's not enough. He's still low, and now the fight is on. 4-on-5. Can they clean this up? But Hong Kong Attitude members are dropping like flies. The health bars are so low. Kai Wing might be able to escape with his life. Unified has a flash out. Maple, can he get the Shurima shuffled? No, he already used it early on in the fight. Gear will pop the stopwatch, but he does not have the Realm Warp to get him out safely, and that is actually what seemed like a favorable invade situation from Hong Kong Attitude turned into a disastrous collapse in favor of Flash Wolves.
Yeah, great TP there by MMD. Able to get a great flank, especially with the Mega Gnar. Even though Gemini was able to stopwatch the Gnar ultimate, but once the stopwatch runs out, MMD was able to finish up the kill, and the rest of Flash Wolves correctly collapses. Here we see the replay. Gemini flashes, stopwatch is early, but Ryrus actually TPs into all 4 members and just dies almost instantly. Betty jumps in, but he gets chunked out and dies to Gear's Rise.
It was so close to killing Unified there, but he was under tower, did not want to run the risk of accidentally dying on the turret, as that would have been quite the misplay from Maple. So just playing it safe and just picked up the easier kill onto Gear in that final exchange. It looks like Hong Kong Attitude are now switching over to the top lane. As expected, they did take the bot lane turret. They now want to extend this lead that they have for themselves. They want to be able to take more turrets using the bot lane Xayah and Rakan combo that they do have. But Muujin is waiting in the wings, but he's going to be spotted on the... just trying to switch in from the bush there. They want to defend this top turret as much as they can. And MMD, he's winning this matchup against Ryrus for sure. Even though he was down CS as he TP'd early to try and get that favorable exchange for Flash Wolves. But if you look at MMD's items, he already has the Spectre's Cowl, which negates a lot of the pressure from Ryrus. And then with the Black Cleaver almost being finished in, he should be able to just kite Ryrus for free and even chase him down in long extended all-ins.
And something else I want to point out is actually what Muujin's build right now. He's got the Warrior Enchant, he's got Mobius, and he's got the Serrated Dirk. So he's actually building using a Kha'Zix build on this Jarvan, which is not something we've seen in the LMS so far, or in any professional games so far, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we've definitely seen Warrior Black Cleaver Jarvan builds, or we've seen Warrior GA builds, but we've never seen the infamous solo queue, 21, 0, and 10 Warrior Duskblade Jarvan build. And he's even got the Moby builds on boot. I knew this had to be too good to be true for Muujin to pick just a standard tank build. Nah, he's taking the tank champion, quote unquote, and he's just gonna build it full damage and just try to one-shot Unified.
Yeah, and Jarvan, even though the reason why most people build Jarvan tank is because it does allow for a lot more. It allows the players to make a lot more errors in their play, but
actually, we see it engage on the top side of the map here. Sword Art getting chunked really low. The quickness being used to some success in chunking out the support player from Flash Wolves. Muujin has rotated to the top side of the map, but Gemini is also here for support. Can they push this in, though, as Gemini actually calls an audible and goes for the Rift Herald? They should actually... They're just going to clear out the vision here first, and then they don't see the I don't know if they saw the control ward or don't want to contest. Actually, Sword Art flashes in. They get the Cataclysm onto Unified, and Kaiwing stopwatch is going to go golden and prevent Unified from dying, but only for a little bit. He's going to eventually go down to the Rift Herald, and now Maple is actually on the backside and gets soloed out by Gear and Gemini, but Gemini also goes down. Punisher's Bite is going to land onto Gear. Can he get out? No, the stun from the Braum passive will force Gear to flash away to safety. Can he get out? He does have the support now in the mid lane as MMD was able to roam to the mid side of the map. But overall, 2 for 2 in that exchange. No turrets going down. It's just kind of scary stuff from both sides. Hong Kong Attitude actually looking to start up this Mountain Dragon. They do not have either jungler here, so it's kind of a risky 50-50% steal, maybe, if they can just zone them off. But Mujin is actually here. He's going to go over the wall, and now Hong Kong Attitude have realized their mistake. Mujin will be able to easily pick that up. Thank you for the leash. Smite comes down, and that feels bad for Hong Kong Attitude. It looks like... for those wondering, my co-caster chairman has hit another technical crash. Once again, we will be linking the GoFundMe page for a new computer for chairman, so he can join us in these future casts. But just looking at the replay there's kind of like 2 mini skirmishes on the backside of that fight. Unified and Kaiwing were tied up with the bot lane from Flash Wolves as well as Mujin, whereas poor Maple had to try and 1v2 between Gear and Gemini on the Kha'Zix and the Rise, and there's only so much that Maple can do. Even with the Emperor's Wall was not enough to keep himself safely distanced. Maple chunking out Gemini on the top side of the river as he's trying to regain control here, and now Sword Art is fancying himself and engage, using the Unbreakable Shield to block the route from Unified here. Gemini is here in the Baron pit, but we have an all-in attempt from Mujin going... Alright, well, the Warrior almost Dustblade build works out for Mujin, being able to solo out Gear along with Maple, the Cataclysm locking Gear up in a position where he can't even get out. Had no sums. Well, technically he had Ghost, but can't really Ghost out of a Cataclysm. You only want to flash in the Nether. Without the stopwatch, was not able to Realm Warp out of there. Ryrus has to be careful. He's just taking a lot of damage for free from Maple, not respecting that Azir damage. He does have the Nashor's Tooth and Leander's Torment already completed. No upgraded boots just quite yet. Just got the standard Reeboks at the moment. Once he invests in some Louis Vuittons or maybe some Armada or Calvin Klein's, maybe he'll start pumping out even more insane damage. But just looking back in here, Maple with the very nice Shurima shuffle set up here. Gemini or Mujin does not land the EQ flag and drag, but the Cataclysm and the auto will do enough damage to basically finish off Gear. And unfortunately, Gear was not able to Realm Warp out of there. The top side of the map is being controlled heavily by Flash Wolves, as we see Sword Art trying to contest the vision from even with Gemini here, but the power of this 2v3 is starting to lose traction and have presence on the map, because now even Unified and Kaiwing cannot just straight up 2v2 Sword Art and Betty anymore. But Sword Art is all left alone. Can he stall this as much as he can? Glacial Fissure comes out, and actually the EQ flag lands on both of the bot lane members. Kaiwing getting soloed out. He uses the stopwatch. Can he get out? Actually, they're able to pick up Maple, and Ryrus using that Vladimir Hemoplague to some effect. They're actually... Wow, well played from Hong Kong Attitude. They're able to get the bot lane out with the Realm Warp to safety, and slight misplay from Flash Wolves, not able to capitalize onto the kills to Kaiwing, but MMD Fancy says flashes for the Gnar, but Ryrus will answer with a flash of his own as he is forced away from the top side of the turret. Looks like Flash Wolves will be able to get the top outer turret after all, but I definitely want to look at that replay, because there's a lot of things that happened that I know that I didn't capture myself, because there was a moment where Kaiwing was super low, and I think Mujin had landed that EQ flag combo. Sword Art was all by himself, quickness landing in, but the Unbreakable Shield kept him alive for so long. And then, so Mugen used the EQ flash mid animation to get the two-man knockout on the Unified and Kaiwing, but Maple went so far ahead, and actually Betty and Mugen for some reason could not follow up and go farther. Ryrus being able to TP and get that Hemo Plague onto the rest of the Flash Wolves. So I guess the engagement is dissuaded. Oh, welcome back, Chairman.
Hello, I am back. Apologies, my computer is still having trouble. Unfortunate.
Just link the GoFundMe page at the bottom of the stream. We'll also be putting it on the channel page for those. I want to point your attention real quick, Chairman, to Mugen's Frankenstein build. So he didn't actually finish the Dustblade, if that's what he's going to be using the Dirk. He's actually just spot up a straight Spirit Visage. This is some scientific experimentation coming from Mugen, but with a lead like this, they just, wow. Power Vizier, you're just able to take the Baron so quickly. They're so far ahead. The Mountain Dragon also helping out a lot in that exchange. Like, Hong Kong Attitude just had even no chance to contest that. Mugen was on, or Gemini was on the other side of the map. So you're going to try to get some counter jungling done, but MMD is here to protect his bot side of the jungle. But now that Flash Wolves have the Baron buff, you know, what's the next step?
Well, they're definitely gonna be. I think they can use a 1-4 split push with MMD in either the top lane, side lane, and then have all the rest 4 members, just group up and push down mid, I think. And first, I think setting up vision around the mid lane is definitely a good choice by Flash Wolves, and which is what Sword Art just did.
He's doing a great job of contesting the vision from Kaiwing, not allowing him to get too far forward without threatening the Winter's Bite passive stun. But Kaiwing is doing his best to try and put down vision. Actually, he's going to flash over the wall, but he misses the grand entrance. Even with the quickness, Ryrus is getting chunked out from the Cataclysm. But on the backside of the map, there's so much going on. Skirmishes on either side. Gear goes down to Betty, and now Sword Art is going to flash Winter's Bite onto Unified, trying to get that stun. Meanwhile, on the top side, Maple is zoning away Kaiwing as Betty picks up the double kill onto Unified. He was singled out and all by himself. Just a... I don't even know what's happening or how that engage started, but it seems like Hong Kong Attitude were trying to react to what seems like maybe a collapse onto Ryrus, but because of the misstep and the misplay and the miscoordination from Hong Kong Attitude, they're gonna lose the middle inhibitor turret and their middle inhibitor.
Yeah, a disastrous attempted engage by Kaiwing there, flashing over the wall and misses both his CC. And I think only landing on the grand entrance on, I believe, Moonjin. Let's take a look at the replay here. Kaiwing, actually everything started. I see. So Moonjin actually EQs over the wall right as the grand entrance comes in, and it ends up only landing on Sword Art. And Buddy right here, really manly, jumps into Unified, but at this point the fight is already lost.
Yeah, and it seems like also the fight was preempted by Maple getting aggressive onto Ryrus, and as soon as he pulled away, I think Kaiwing was attempting, along with Gear, to make a counter engage, but like you said, Mugen had already EQ'd over the wall by the time Kaiwing made the attempt, and he was just too far away to make that engage realistic, and so without any of their tools for the rest of the fight to disengage, they're basically their two main DPS and Gear and Unified just got run over.
Yeah, and I feel like at this point Hong Kong Attitude needs to take fights on their own terms.
The Realm is actually going to be used to start and engage. The quickness and grand entrance is only going to find Sword Art, though. Mugen does drop, but he's able to chunk out and take out Kaiwing. But what is happening on the top side of the fight? MMD is actually sold out Ryrus and flashes away from the Feather Dance, and they're going to chunk out. Double kill from Maple. Potentially another double kill from Betty. Both of the main DPS members from Flash Wolves taking 2 of their own. Gemini had to run like the hills, but now with 4-on-1, it's 28 minutes into the game. They don't have the Baron push anymore, but they do have the Super Siege minions. This should be the final game from Flash Wolves. They're taking out both of the Nexus Stars. There's nothing really Gemini can do here. Unified or Kaiwing is up, but no, this is the clean, good old 2-0 from Flash Wolves.
Yeah. Overall, pretty dominating performance by Flash Wolves, and MMD with his performance saves his career.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty nice game from MMD, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. He played that game pretty well, absorbing the pressure from Gemini, especially in the early game, and then using the Meganar TPs and successfully flanking during those mid game fights, especially around the bot lane.
Yeah, and I think in that, hopefully we get a replay of that last fight, but I think MMD, there was a potential for that fight to go really sour for Flash Wolves, and that could have been an advantageous opportunity for Hong Kong Attitude to make a play onto Betty and Maple. However, I think what happened was MMD TP'd right onto the backline and single-handedly zoned them away. Mugen was able to EQ and commit a Cataclysm to try and also do his part, but Mugen got bursted. MMD then did the rest of the work, trying to zone away Unified and Gear as basically Betty and Maple and Sword Art dealt with the engaging front line from Kaiwing and Ryrus.
Yep. Overall, pretty good TPs coming from MMD there. And honestly, that game might have just saved his career.
Yeah, he could even get I think he could potentially get the MVP of that game because, I mean, Mugen actually wasn't that impressive on the Warrior into Dirk into Spirit Visage Jarvan, his little Frankenstein build there. He followed up well on ganks, and he set up Vision kind of well, but MMD was the one to capitalize on to the first blood kill onto Gemini, and then Maple just kind of did his job, trying to make sure that he kept Gear into place. And then Betty and Sword Art, I mean, they were tasked with trying to maintain the bot lane, but it's kind of hard when Kaiwing and Unified elect into one of the stronger, in fact, the strongest level 1 bot lane in the game with Exhaust Ignite on the Rakan. So, but they didn't lose the game, and they didn't lose too much from that combo. So, well played.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job containing the Zion Rakan, and even though they lost the turret, they were able to keep up mostly in CS and not let the games snowball out of control. And honestly, I think a lot of credit goes to MMD for absorbing a lot of the pressure from Gemini, as well as from Gemini on its Kha'Zix here, because Gemini, especially in the early game, did spend a lot of time around the top side of the map.
Yeah, practically set up the tent, s'mores and campfire, the whole shebang, and but MMD survived the lane, and he built defensively, and then he was able to eventually out-pressure Ryrus in the split push advantage, and then, like you said, just had those great TP flanks. With that, I'm sure that the LMS casters are going over what went wrong in that game, and they should have the interview soon. So what I'm going to do is I want to see if Chairman can get any insight from the caster desk, as I really do like to hear what the other analysts do have to say, and this will allow me a chance to just kind of save my voice for now.
结果
哎，
对方开了纳的情况下，再补了吸血鬼出来，周老师，纳对上吸血鬼在线路上面，纳应该过得很轻松。你觉得为什么对方会想要这样选？而且我们看 HK 在最后的这个第3选跟第4选是一个一个把瑞空跟差慢慢拿出来，你觉得他们这个 PV 有什么样其他想法
So what do you think of the pick and ban phase?
其实有沟通好了，就是可能你本身吸血鬼打，那可能就是其实也没有到那么特别的好打，但其实你有注意到的话
So in the top lane matchup, the Vladimir
小兵去直系，
actually
兵线是一直往里面送，所以搭配
Vladimir actually had ignite, and Gemini actually wanted to dive the Gnar.
他就一直住中下，这场的中下可能炮娘跟布朗姆就不会输的这么多，那是因为卡萨以前会帮，但相反这场 Mujin 他反而
And I think top 8 the game plan was that the Kazakhs will try to camp the Vladimir and try to dive MMD, but Moonjin, compared to Karsa, who used to play around the boss side of the map, Moonjin was actually protecting MMD, and they were actually pick up the first blood onto this Gnar, or onto the Kazakhs, who was trying to pull off a dive onto MMD.
这个计划最后没有成功，成为他们胜利的原因是什么呢？你觉得
And actually, my stream is lagging
就可惜没有办法打出更多的结果，是不是？好，那当然啦，这个投资失败
for some reason.
风险了，投资风险了，有赚有赔嘛。那赔的时候是什么时候呢？我们看一下，有几波团战的爆发，让闪亮中路的阿奇可以提早开始发育。我们看一下这一波呢是下路。
So looking at the replays, Hong Kong Attitude it started with Hong Kong Attitude trying to invade. In MMD, TP is down for the collapse, and
逃脱的位置，
把他从后面直接卡开，
直接断后了。
那当然，这边 Betty 的进场时间好像也是就没有办法去重置到。
And Betty was a little overconfident in this case and ends up giving his life. But overall, Fast Wolves going for a 4-for-2 in this fight. And it all started with Hong Kong Attitude being a little too aggressive with their invades in the jungle. And Gemini just gets caught out.
因为其实你选出阿切跟雷兹的中路组合，前中期是雷兹会有主动带线，甚至做大夫的优势，他是有蛮多的优势嘛。那阿切尔的话，他越到后期，他是一个趋近于无解的英雄。
So the reason why Kazakhs was able to invade so aggressively is because Rise does have to push pressure early in the game. And in the bot lane, Zaire Kong does have the pushing as well. So they were able to they have lane priority, but Azir, once he hits the mid game and has a couple items, there is really no solution to the Azir because he's just that strong.
我们可以看到，中期有一波是阿杰的装提早成型，那卡莉斯想要做一个打伤害的动作，结果呢，阿杰的反身反戳了2下。
And then one instance of this is when Kazakhs tried to make an aggressive play onto the Azir, and Azir just turned around and auto attacked a few times with his Sand Soldiers, and Kazakhs fell to below half health.
但没有成功。我们看一下，在中路这里呢，尤其是瑞空这次开战瞄准目标其实是出攻击装比较薄弱的将，但没开到啊，周老师。
对，因为其实这里 HK 我觉得他们沟通上有一点问题，因为他们已经是5个人全部站得很分散，而且 Riris 是自己从这个中路想。
And this replay here, Hong Kong actually had some miscommunications here because all 5 members is actually split up in their own jungle. So when Kai, even though Moonjin actually misses his engage onto Riders, Hong Kong Attitude was just way too split up in this fight, and they just got picked off one by one.
咪咪蛋他的表现，2位会给他怎么样评价呢？周老师？
我觉得他跟以前比起来啦，就是真的稳健了很多，因为可能以前 咪咪蛋的话，可能就会看到被塔杀的情况嘛。就尤其是这一场，其实 Jenny 跟 Ruiz 其实想要针对他这个点。
So I do think that MMD actually became matured a lot more because Gemini and Riders tried to play around the top side and tried to dive MMD a lot of times, but MMD absorbed that pressure and didn't die a single time. So overall, very impressive.
上路那个插眼，然后跟要防大夫这意思，光他在上路能僵持1分多钟，我就给他超过100分。
的确是非常高的分数，而且我觉得今天的 MD 看起来是非常有怎么说主动性，他非常积极。我们看到上路他其实有一次闪翻想要翻吸血鬼，没有翻到，但我觉得以前的 MD 是不会做这种事情的。
对，以前咪咪蛋一定就是先拉一下，
他退了，
对，先拉一下。
And this game today, MMD actually played very aggressively. He tried to go aggressive onto Vladimir, and he had quite a few TP plays. And compared to the old MMD, who in those situations would have tried to retreat at first and then make another play, but looking at the damage output, Azir did so much damage. Wow.
我看到经济上面差距最后是将近1万块啊，破塔数8比1，跟上场一样都是很大差距，而且重点是这两场比赛都是很快的一路兵就直接灌过去了，就直接结束20几分钟，犹豫时间。
Maple really delivering on this Azir.
全场最高是谁？哪一只鸡啊
26.7k damage. Yeah, 28 minutes game.
方面的话，我们看到20几分钟，大概就是在那个凯斯被打残，然后吃到巴龙之后。
And this whole game ended because Azir poked down the Kazakhs, and then they were able to get the Baron buff.
最不想发生的事情发生了。
And then the game was over from there.
真的很恐怖，真的起飞了。所以这样子的话，对 HK 来讲，两位觉得说他们今天的
And for Hong Kong Attitude,
输的原因是出在
why did they lose today?
计划没有好好的执行吗？土龙老师。
应该是说
For Hong Kong Attitude, their game plan was that in the mid to early game, they had to get they have to get an early goal lead, but both games they couldn't. There were some mistakes,
让沙皇在几个会战
and
发育起来，那提早拿到这么多经济优势的状况，他装备提早成型，雷兹
We have
完全没有办法，
Ole
就是在线路上跟他做推送。
的确，
in our Twitch chat.
就在前面分析
Hello,
的
Ole.
时候，我有说到，就是如果今天 HK 的中野不去限制 Maple 的话，
Ole?
其实真的很难赢。
Ole, hello! Welcome to Holy Moly! Hey, Ole, thank you so much for joining our chat. Me and Chairman, first of all, want to say thank you, and also congratulations to your current success with Team Liquid. You and Double Lift look great.
You guys are a beast.
Yeah, you
Thanks
guys
for
are
tuning in.
awesome. Hey, Ole, before you go, what are the chances of you playing Bard anytime soon, my friend? Are you gonna pull out in today's matchup?
最后交到是我们 Maple 手上
A Bard play,
的
maybe?
阿奇尔279只的持兵本。
But getting back to the LMS, key player will be gifted to Maple. Really great performance by him. On this Azir.
你一提到阿奇尔，我就觉得有点。
He did so much damage in this game.
直接讲出来，我没有这个意思
不是，因为其实我觉得 Maple 他阿奇尔不一样的地方，就是他在中期的时候，可能就大家就以大家来说，但其他 LMS 中路选手来说，就是真的是中路浓浓兵耶。可是Maple 的阿奇尔他是会，就是一找到机会，就是把你回推回来，把你打残，然后逼着你回家，然后可能可以多弄个1、2波兵线，甚至跑线。我觉得这是 Maple 他玩阿奇尔跟其他选手完全不一样的地方。
听起来像是角色。
Maple definitely had a lot of mastery on this Azir as a champion. Especially in the mid game, he was chunking out members of Hong Kong Attitude left and right.
总有一天。
So well deserved for Maple getting player of the match.
版本看起来还是很厉害，因为整个中路载制度是很够的。
他是一支很优秀的中路英雄，大后期法师。
真的要去打他的中路角色，可能就雷兹这样的英雄能去打。
但是就是说我只能说 Maple 他的尾兵的精准度跟他在使用。
So Mr. Rafa, what do you think of this Clash of Hong Kong Attitude matchup?
Well, I think first of all, I'm happy for MMD showing good prowess on the matchup, but I'll show my thoughts later. We got interview with Betty from our lovely friend Jessie.
这是我第一次访问你，感觉蛮奇妙。哎，为什么之前都没有访问过你啊？怪怪的。
So I've never interviewed you. Why is that? I feel like I'm not sure.
打太好之类的。
So congratulations to your 2 wins.
连胜哦。不过你们上个礼拜就输给了那个 Afro。
And today, even though you lost 1 game against Team Afro, and this match you've been looking really impressive. Why is that? And what did you change? I feel like we had a little communications issue. And me myself, I've been
我听说，因为我像上个礼拜访问
misinterpreting some things, but
赶快去跟你
we've definitely gotten better.
传就是了。不过因为你刚刚我们有聊到说，你们目前的上路跟打野都是
So far, you guys have 2 top laners and 2 junglers. How is it? Right now we have a lot of different strategies.
你怎么在赛后采访爆开？
In as far as just team comms goes as well.
哦，就是造成
有时候也是玩得很好，对。
And there will be a chance that we'll see all 4 people in the top lane and jungle.
就是下路的地方呢，其实你们在第一场放出了上个礼拜被禁用12次的克里斯达，然后你的第一选是选。
So in the first game, you actually first pick Ezreal over Kalista, and in why is that? So I think that I feel like my Kalista isn't as good as Ezreal, and during scrims, we've had a lot more successes on the Ezreal.
的 Q 好像有被削弱，你自己怎么看呢？
他前4的人的时候差很多，因为他那个伤害。
So what do you think of the what do you think of the Ezreal nerfs in 8.2? I think that in the early game he got nerfed really hard, but once you put more points into Q, the damage drop off isn't as bad. So I definitely think that he can definitely show up even after the nerf.
可是我们会觉得火龙可能是蛮重要的这个战略目标，为什么你们会这样子选择呢？
因为我们那时候推完塔的时候，可以顺便把兵给清掉，然后我们这时候就可以往上转，就是那个火龙如果吃了的话，我们下一波又要再往下。
So you guys decided to give up the Infernal Drake after getting first turret. Why is that? Because we actually took first turret, and because we wanted to rotate top lane, that's why. So as far as your Ezreal item build, you actually elected into the Iceborne Gauntlet over a tier. Why is that? Well, I actually think that building tier in lane just doesn't do that much in lane, and building Iceborne Gauntlet first item gives me so much power in the lane against the Kalista. So I think I value laning phase strength over the tier. So in game 2, you guys on the Tristana and Braum, you guys lost lane a little bit, but Moonjin actually played around top side and mid side a lot. Why is that? Because in the Jarvan, because in the game for our game plan was that we wanted to make a lot of plays around the mid and top lane, because our mid and top lane matchup is super strong. And plus in the bot lane, Tristana and Braum are both scale super well compared to the Zyre and Kong. That is why. So in lane, how did you play against the Zyre Kong, which is a really strong lane? So in lane, we just try to CS as well as we can, and just try to survive the lane. And losing CS in lane is acceptable because Zyre Kong is just so strong.
OK， 了解。好，因为我们呢在这个礼拜看到的赛事时间其实都偏长嘛，例如说像昨天。
So far this week, all of the game times have been super long. Why did you guys finish the game so soon? I think we are really good at catching the mistakes of and capturing the mistakes and utilizing all those mistakes and snowballing. So tomorrow you're playing against G-Rex and their bot lane is Stitch from Samsung Galaxy, the World Championship. What do you think of this matchup? So I think I'll try my hardest. Hopefully they're not too strong for us and we'll at least go even against G-Rex. So do you think that laning doesn't matter that much compared to the 5v5? I do agree that the laning phase doesn't matter that much, and the 5v5s are much more important because winning lane, unless you win super hard and deny the enemy laner, it's not going to matter too much. And that's it for the interview. Looking over the standings now, G-Rex and J-Team, as well as Flash Wolves, are all tied technically in first place, while Flash Wolves have only played 2 games. So, and then followed by them is Machi Esports and Matt Team, both 2-2. And then followed by them is Team Afro and Team Afro and who was it?
感谢大家的收看，我是主持人杰西，我们明天再见喽。
我是闪来 ID，拜拜。
好，拜拜。
My apologies.